a Thanksgiving dinner for about 10 of my close friends and family. And of course, at every Thanksgiving meal, you need a turkey. I've never made a turkey before, but I'm going to try my best and probably end up with a delicious turkey. I'm nervous about it. It's this huge challenge. I've never cooked anything so complicated or time-consuming before, but let's do it. Don't be nervous. Let's tackle this thing. Let's get a turkey done. So, first things first, we need to look at our turkey and prepare our brine that it's going to sit in. At this point, if you have a frozen turkey, you need to let it thaw. Follow thawing instructions. Usually, it's putting it in cold water for a fast thaw or storing it in the fridge for a few days. But if you have a fresh, ready-to-go turkey like I do, prepare a brine and remove parts of the turkey for later. Okay, so here's my turkey. It's from a local grocery chain that's really delicious. It's like all natural, vegetarian fed. Usually with cooking, if you can go organic or local, all that good stuff, do. Usually it tastes better and it's just, better for the animal, better for the environment. Okay, so I gotta remove the neck and giblets. I had no idea what that was. I had to look up a picture. If you're not used to messing with the animals, it's kind of gross looking. I don't know if this will have it or not. I'm gonna assume it still has it. So I gotta take out the liver and all that stuff. Never done it before, so if it's your first time, let's do this together. Okay, so I put some plastic wrap down. Trying to be as clean as possible with this. Here's the knife I'm gonna use. I'm gonna cut the end, open up the bag. Don't know if this has been prepared already or not. Okay, so there's definitely a lot of, turkey juices and stuff. So I'm just going to pour mine down the sink. Don't know if that's the best idea or not. I'm assuming it is because, we're making a brine. We're making a sauce for this to sit in. There's a lot of liquid in there with it. Okay, now I read certain types of turkeys you don't have to brine. And that would be like kosher turkeys and things. So make sure your hands are nice and washed. Okay. I'm going to just pull it vertical and then just throw away the wrapper that it came in. Okay. Alright, here's our turkey. Woo! Okay, this is a turkey. Never dealt with one before. I'm gonna guess this has everything in it. Really looks like it does. Normally I'm even vegetarian, but for special occasions and stuff I'll eat meat. And Thanksgiving's one of those ones where you have to eat the meat. So yeah, this is literally like, the bird right here. Alright, so let's flip this thing around. I read some instructions online about how to go in for the neck and everything. Okay, it said to cut apart the legs and reach inside, and if it's thawed, the neck will be loose. Now you're going to need that for gravy and stuff, so I have these containers on the side. I don't know how big a turkey neck is. Haven't really been around turkeys very much. It says cut apart whatever's holding the leg. Said metal or plastic. For this, it looks like they actually use the flesh of the turkey to do it. Okay, yeah, so open up the legs of this thing. And... okay, yeah, this is the turkey neck. It's humongous. Oh, man. I feel like I'm doing an animal dissection here. Okay, so grab that. Okay, now we're looking for the liver, the gizzard, and the heart. And it said it's going to be in the main area or between the wings. So... I'm not really feeling it. I feel the ribs and everything. Oh, here we go. Oh, yeah, here it is. Oh, okay, looks like they already put it in a plastic bag for me. Great, alright, and it was up near the neck cavity and everything. You know, where the neck would be. I think that's everything. There's definitely a lot of liquid in mine still, so I'm gonna research a little bit online still, make sure I'm doing everything correct, but we got the liver and the gizzard and the neck and everything out of it. Okay, according to some research I did, I should have gotten everything out of the turkey. So I got my turkey package, you know, in here. You can store that in the fridge for later. Maybe clean it off with soap. You don't want to do any cross-contamination or anything. It said to clean out the inside of your turkey with water, with cold water. So I'm going to pick mine up, move it in my sink, and then rinse it with some cold water. Oh, that's warm. Anyway, with some cold water. Then I'm just going to set it aside. Get the knife out of the way. Okay, I don't know if that was well rinsed off or not. Anyway, so I'm going to throw away, like, you know, the blood and everything, or whatever that is. Make sure I clean it up really well. Then I'm going to find a nice spot to set my turkey aside while I prepare the oranges and things for the brine. And we're going to be making an orange tea bourbon brine. I'm going to be making an orange tea bourbon brine for this turkey, and I'm going to let it soak for a few days. If you let it soak in a brine for a few days, you got to cut down on the salt content. So I'm going to half my salt content. Otherwise, if it has a lot of salt, I've heard, you know, you can just brine it 6 hours or overnight. Okay, this brine wanted the zest, which is basically just the skin, and the juice of 5 oranges. And it wants the zest in long strips, so I'm just going to use a peeler. You know, like I'd peel anything else. So there's a long strip. Okay, so check out all that zest. It's a lot of zest. But now it's time to squeeze these lemons. So I'm going to just cut them in half and squeeze the halves out. If you have a juicer, that'd be a great idea. I do not, so I just got to do it old school. Which, no doubt, does not get much out. As much as it should. Anyway. So put some muscle into it. Here's an arm workout for the day. Okay, so here's my 5 oranges worth of orange juice. Not a whole lot, probably could have squeezed a lot better. And there is the peeled skin, the zest of them. So, get your huge container that you'll be brining your turkey in, and let's begin to put this all together. Okay, so here is my 12-quart just container. I mean, it's massive. Look at this thing. I bought a cheap one just because I've never really had to use this before, but if you think you're going to be doing these huge cooking items, you can buy a bigger one. So we need 2 quarts of water in here. So I measured out at 2 quarts of water. And this is like your typical, you know, baking pot. Look how tiny it is compared to this thing. Then you need your 5 oranges worth of orange juice. So mix that goodness in. Get it all out. Then you need your zest. You know, so that's the skins of them all. Then it said you need 2 cups of salt. But because I'm doing my brine for over 2 days, I'm going to half the salt. So only 1 cup instead of 2. So here's my 1 cup of salt. Let's get that in there. And you can do more or less. It's all up to you, you know, personal preferences. Then we also need 1 cup of sugar. Well, let's get that 1 cup of sugar in there. Then you need 12 black tea bags. That's right. 12 whole bags of black tea. So there's 1. And I would rip off, actually, the paper at the end. Two. Three. And 12. And we need 4 bay leaves. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. 6 cloves. And I've got these kind of dried up cloves. I don't know how cloves come. I don't know if they get dried or not, or if that's just how they always are. But 6 of those. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. First time I've ever really used cloves. They seem so tiny. I don't know if they'd really make a difference or not. Hopefully. And then we need 12 peppercorns. And peppercorns are those things you just see at restaurants that you grate up into pepper. It's what the pepper starts out as. Said about 12 of those. So I'd say that's about 12. And these are a special smoked kind from a local spice store that has really awesome spices. And then last but not least, we need 1 cup of bourbon. Bourbon whiskey, you know, something like Jack Daniels or Jim Beam. So there's 1 cup of that. Now we've got everything together. So let's bring this to a boil and then simmer for 10 minutes. So bring to a boil, then reduce the heat to low, and then put the lid on and just let it kind of bubble like that for 10 minutes. Helps lock in the flavor and mix everything around. As you can see, and definitely here, this is at a boil. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn the heat down to like a medium-low. Yeah, now it smells more like oranges. Still bourbony, but more orangey now. Put the lid on. And let it do that for 10 minutes. Leave a little opening so the smoke can come out. 10 minutes of simmering. Okay, it's been simmering for 10 minutes. Oops. Whew. Smells very bourbony still. But we're going to add some water to it and dilute it. Yeah, oh, I smell the tea bags too. And the orange. I think I just got a whiff of all the bourbon at once. I'm going to stir it around all nice. Yeah, it smells nice. And the point of it, it's not a sauce, it's just a brine. The turkey's going to soak some of it up. So I'm going to turn off the heat completely, and then it says add 4 quarts of cold water to this and let it cool down. I'm kind of worried about fitting my turkey in there and 4 quarts of cold water plus this stuff. So I'm going to add 2 quarts of cold water for now. Let it cool down, add my turkey, see where I'm at. You know, because I got to fit my turkey in there. Okay, so now I'm adding 2 quarts of cold water. Okay, I'm pretty sure I could put the turkey in there and add more cold water, but I'm gonna wait and see. So let this cool down a bit, and then add your turkey in there. Ooh, it smells good. Suddenly with water, it smells a lot more like oranges and a lot less like bourbon. It's equaling out a lot more. And again, because the turkey's just soaking in it and it's not a sauce, you know, you're only going to taste a hint of it. It's not going to be this huge overpowering thing. So, I think it's going to be really good. So let's let it cool down and throw our turkey in there. I got my brine and I'm going to put my turkey in as gently as possible. It is slippery though. Okay, alright, it fits. Barely. And as you can see, the water's really coming up a lot. So I'm not going to be able to get much more than 2 quarts in here. So if you got like a 12-pound turkey, definitely do a bigger container than a 12 quart. So I'm going to add a little bit more cold water and then get it in the fridge. Let's see if I can get 1 more whole quart, get it up to 3 total. That'd be nice. Okay, yeah, so 3 works. So I don't really quite have the whole turkey covered, but that's okay. It's mostly covered. Go to 4 quarts if you can, get it in your fridge, and then brine it for at least 8 hours. A whole day would be better. I'm doing mine for 2 days. I might get this in my fridge. Okay, make sure you have space in the fridge. I cleared out a shelf, so I've got the room for this thing. And then let's get it in the fridge. Nice and steady. You don't want to spill it everywhere. And I'm going to let that brine for 2 days. Alright, I'll see you in 2 days. Or 1 day. Alright, my turkey's been in the fridge brining for 2 days. So now we got to get it out and drain it. So get it out of your fridge, take it over to your sink, and get a colander and dump it out. Okay, so I've got my colander. Here's my turkey that I put in the orange tea bourbon brine for 2 days. So slowly dump it out in your sink. Looks really good. You can see, remember the part of it was, the top was sticking out, so that part really didn't get brined super well. But you could see the areas that were submerged really soaked up the color nicely. Okay, what you need next is a roasting pan, and I'll show you that in a second. Okay, so here's our roasting pan. This is just your basic tinfoil one. A couple bucks, just at a local store. It's like a one-time use only. So anyway, get your roasting pan. Make sure it's big enough for your turkey. Obviously, they usually are. So grab your turkey after you rinsed it out. Make sure none of the materials from your brine are sticking to it. Like in my case, that'd be tea bags, because it's an orange tea bourbon brine. So it looks pretty good. I'm going to look at the inside just to make sure none of the stuff got on the inside of it. I'm not seeing anything. So anyway, you put it breast side up, but you tuck the wings under. So get your wings. Tuck them under. Okay, then what you need twine, because you got to tie the legs together. So get your 2 legs. Get your twine. I'm just going to wrap around it a few times to kind of keep them together that way. There we go, now I'm getting them together. Seems like wrapping it around a few times really helps keep them together that way. So, it's not perfect, but it'll do. So my 2 legs are tied together. We're going to need to get this in an oven preheated to 350 degrees. And apparently the way you cook turkey is, for every pound you do about 15 minutes. But the magic number you're looking to hit is 165. When it's 165 degrees, it's ready. So let's get to our oven. Okay, so I've got my turkey in the roasting pan and the oven's preheated to 350 degrees. So for every pound of turkey, you need 15 minutes, or until a thermometer inserted in the thigh comes out at 165 degrees. But also, with your oven, you're cooking it on the lowest rack. So if you have another rack in there, you're going to want to get it out of the way. So take your turkey, put it in your lowest rack, shut the door, and set your time for around 15 minutes per pound. I have a 12-pounder, so it's going to be around 3 hours, give or take. Have your thermometer handy. Also make sure that the neck and the giblets and the liver and all that came with your turkey, get it in there with it. Because a lot of meat juice is going to come off of it, and that's going to be really good for our gravy. So just plop them in the side there. There we go. Okay, keep an eye on it. Alright, so take the herb butter that we made, and we need to rub some on the turkey. Now, it's my first time making turkey, like I said before, so I've made a few mistakes already. So hopefully I'll walk you through these and you won't make the same ones. A lot of turkeys, you have to baste. Keeps it moist, helps it cook really well. And a lot of times, too, you need to put foil over the top of your turkey. My turkey, I think, honestly, is pretty close to being done. But I'm going to get the butter on it, cover it with foil, and cook it a little bit longer. So put your butter down. You need 2 tablespoons on it. So I'm going to use a brush. Sorry, it's really close.
That is not done. Look at that side.
Okay, so take your 2 tablespoons of butter and brush it on. You should do this before you get it in the oven. I'm a little backwards here. I missed a step in my instructions. But this will help keep it nice and moist. A lot of it's fallen off, but it'll stick on if you haven't, cooked it yet. It's not super hot. Okay, so I got my foil, and it's hot because I'm in an oven, obviously, so I gotta be careful. So I would say this is pretty well covered. So get it back in your oven and keep cooking it. 15 minutes per pound, give or take, or until the thigh reads 165 degrees. As your turkey cooks, you'll see some juices coming off to the side, which are perfect to baste it with. And that's basically just putting the liquids back on top and re-moisturizing it. My turkey was a little dark because I didn't cover it right away, so definitely cover your turkey. It's getting close though, and it smells good. It smells delicious. And then we're going to put the cover back on and probably cook it just for another 15-20 minutes or so. And then pull it out and let it sit for a little while. So baste it and get it back in the oven. Well, the turkey's done and it turned out pretty good. I definitely recommend you need to make sure you baste it as it's cooking, which means just take some of the drippings around it and put them back on top. Also, make sure you rub it down with a butter or some other substance before you cook it. I forgot to do that right away, but I did get it on later. Also, it's important to cover it as it's cooking, or, you're going to blacken the skin too much. That happened in my case, but it was still savable and still ended up being a pretty good turkey. Good luck!